Hey, and welcome to this very special episode of The Forge. We're here in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the McCall Conference, and I have a very special guest, Rushton Hurley. Welcome, Rushton.
Hey, good to be here.
Rushton, for any of our audience who might not know you or know your work, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, I can do that, and the three people who already know me, I'll get to them, but the rest of everybody. So my name is Rushton Hurley, and I am a teacher and an educator. I was a principal, and now I run a little nonprofit, and the nonprofit is called Next Vista for Learning. It's at nextvista.org. And what it's about highlighting creative approaches to teaching and learning. So its premier project is an online library of videos made by and for teachers and students everywhere. It's free to use, free to contribute to, free to download from, and it's all for a student audience, right? So the idea is that people have these perspectives, these kind of clever perspectives on explaining different topics, and there's a place for it. In a video library that doesn't have any advertisements, and it's all 5 minutes or less, so you're only committing so much of your time, jumping in. And it's just an opportunity to really celebrate how not just teachers but students bring themselves to a point where they can explain their learning. That's obviously kind of well up Bloom scale, things like that. So there's lots of opinions I have about how that's valuable to teachers as they do what they do, to students as they begin to discover their voice. The site itself also includes other things, videos about different parts of the world, videos about the joy and meaning that come from helping others, videos about career possibilities.
One thing I wanted to make sure we talked about, Rushton, is because you said something at the beginning here about the videos. It's by teachers and students for students, is that right?
That's true.
Why is that important that you've got, because there's lots of videos out there. You could go grab, there's lots of videos you could go and grab. But why is it important that
you can sift through them to find what you want?
Sure. Right. But what's the value of having it be by students and teachers in particular?
So I'm coming at it from the sense that there are specific needs. One of the needs works this way, and this was actually the one that really got my thinking going a decade ago. And I'm looking at kids on campus and I'm thinking, why do so many of these kids disconnect from their educational opportunities? So, they actually like school, right? They like being around their friends. They typically like a certain amount of structure in their lives, no matter how much whining they do, they like that kind of thing. But they began to lose their confidence in their ability to learn different things. And you hear it in language like this: I'm no good at math, or things like that, which is, there's nothing about that perspective that is necessarily even accurate, right?
Right.
What I want is for a kid, when that kid is sitting in class and thinking, I don't get what this person's telling me, not to think I'm no good at math. I want them to think, if somebody explained this to me differently, I could get it. And so the power of video is to be able to get multiple presentations of the same content in nice short chunks in a place where a kid doesn't have to go somewhere and say, I don't get it, which is, for I think a lot of kids, the equivalent of saying, hi, I'm an idiot. And that's not true, but it's what they're thinking, so that's how they act. And so if there's a place they can go, all the better. With video, everything depends on the story.
Sure.
And so, if a teacher puts together a very clever video, it's going to be popular with kids. If kids put together a clever video, it's going to be popular with kids. What really stands out for the kids is the set of elements that make up the process. So, we all know that a kid who learns to revise his or her writing is actually going to be okay in life, because what you want to do is you want to say, this is what I did, can I make it better? I talk about that in my talking, all the time. Move a kid from, am I done yet, to how can I make it better? And so getting them to revise their writing is like pulling teeth. If you give them a one-page paper, their goal is to get to the end of the page.
Right.
And they may not look at stuff they've written at all. It's just,
I've got this limit, I need to hit the limit.
Exactly.
Done.
Now, the difference with video, and any kind of video, whether the visuals are images that you've pulled up from somewhere online, or it's footage you took, or it's screencast, it doesn't make any difference what the visuals are. The process of pulling that together in such a way that it's going to look good to the viewer is interesting to kids. Part of it is their exposure to digital media, but a lot of it is actually a lot simpler than that. When a teacher says, okay, we're going to do video projects in class, for example, the chances are good that everybody's going to see the projects.
Right.
And the teacher should be thinking along those lines, right? We're all going to watch what you do. Now, that makes for a very important change in the thinking of a kid. And I talk about it this way in, you know, when I'm speaking at a conference or something. When a kid knows that other kids are going to see the work, they want it to be good. And when they know that I, the teacher, am the only audience for their work, then they want it to be good enough.
So for teachers or educators that are watching this and they say, whoa, holy cow, I mean, that's a realization, right? Like, because the teachers, they do want to like the kids. They do want to help the kids, regardless if they're performing or not. If they're saying, okay, I want to try this, how should a teacher go about getting started? Because that's always a hurdle, right?
Right.
It's not, once you get into it, usually it's like, okay, I've got this couple things behind me, I'm good to go, but getting over the initial hurdles are tough.
The full set of you know, kind of ideas on that front would go kind of all afternoon. But, but there are specific pieces that I think everybody can use. One is, and this may be kind of a totally trippy piece for a lot of teachers, you don't need to know how to make a video to have your kids do video projects. And for a lot of teachers, it's, no, you gotta be kidding. You know, I have to be the master. I have to be the master. You know, it's like, why? You know, why on earth? Well, because, and you know, they're thinking along particular kinds of lines, like, what if a parent comes and says, you know, can you explain to me what you're asking the kid to do? No, I don't know how to do it. That seems like a terrible. Well, but that's easily fixed. So if you're telling kids to do a video project and everybody's going to see their work, and then you say, if you don't want to do a video, you may do a poster and present it to the class, you're covered, right? So any of the discussions that relate to do you or don't you have the expertise to train kids to do this, yeah, you know, they have the option of doing a poster.
Right.
The quality is protected via the audience issue. So if everybody's going to see it, then people are going to want, you know, to do well. And it actually is a disincentive to do a poster for the kids, because they don't want to be the kid who comes up after somebody shows a good video and says, here's my poster, right? So they don't want that. For a lot of teachers, they're trying to pull those kinds of things into it. Okay, I know that I can give a poster as an option. You know, learning that you can do things like, say, all right, you know, with this particular video assignment, your grade is actually all in the script. Your script is due in 2 weeks, the video is due in 6. So once you give me the script, I'm able to go through, make sure that, you know, they're dealing with the content properly, things like that. And you know, once that's done, you can then start your filming. And it may be that the grade is determined and the grade is retained by simply turning in the video. But the teacher doesn't actually have to take time to critique the videography, right? You know, it's not like, oh, well, the lighting. You know, and you don't have to do anything like that. Do you understand what the kid was saying? And does it kind of come across good enough? Fine. The quality is going to be determined by the audience issue. So the grade, in terms of the learning, can happen via the script. And then you have a teacher saying, oh, well, but 4 weeks? I mean, I can't lose 4 weeks. You're not losing 4 weeks in class. Let it happen outside of class. You know, give you know, like little teams of kids, you know, the opportunity maybe to talk through some ideas, but then, you know, they do homework. This is a kind of homework. You know, I don't think you need to, or at least I didn't. You know, when I was teaching, I'd say, okay, this is when the next video project is due, and you know, I might give them 20 minutes on 1 or 2 days to do some planning together. That was it, and then they just had to turn it in. Well, this is one of those other pieces where the kids are like, oh, but, or the teachers, I keep saying that. You know, the teachers are thinking, well, but that's going to be the pain right there. I'm going to get to that point, and the kid's going to walk in on the day it's due, and the kid's going to say, so I was working on my project, and my computer totally crashed. It was a technology problem. You know, and you know,
the dog ate my homework.
Oh, well, yeah, I was principal of an online high school, right, 10 years ago, and a kid came in, I kid you not, and said, my dog knocked over my laptop, and I thought, oh man. Anyway, so you know, when submitting a video project, up until quite recently, it was this thing of bringing in, say, a flash drive or something and sticking it in, and maybe your player would play that format, and maybe not, and that's a pain, and it's another reason somebody might say, I'm not doing that. On the other hand, if the job of the kid is just to submit a link, and when you, the teacher, click on the link, and you see the video, then it's been turned in. And if the kid gives you a link, and you click on it, and you can't see the video, it hasn't been turned in. Oh, but it's because they made a mistake. They made it private instead of that. Well, you know, I mean, you know, how many excuses do we want to give them? If somebody hands you a sheet of paper and says, I wrote my essay, and you don't see anything, and the kid says, well, I wrote it in white ink on white paper, are we supposed to police that?
Right, so it's managing the expectations.
Totally.
And so, because if it's private or something wrong with the video, the kid can always go upload it again, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, take YouTube, for example. I mean, there are still some schools that block YouTube. You know, that different conversation. But if you upload something to YouTube and you make it unlisted, then it can't be searched. So the privacy issues are by and large getting covered. And the teacher's going to be able to see it. Take it down afterwards if you want. You can always come up with other paths, right? There are other online vehicles for sharing video. So whether it's screencast.com or Vimeo or SchoolTube, I mean, you can actually pay to have, kind of a good system that way. There's a lot of possibilities for doing this. I think that for a lot of teachers, mostly the barrier is just the idea, I haven't done it before, right? And what they need to know is that there is a balance in place. It's not the pain of not having done it before and then therefore going through it. It's the fun of seeing what students do when they're pushing their quality to new levels, which has been my experience with kids doing video. That kids will go for higher quality and work to revise what they're doing, and all of this when they know there's kind of a greater audience for it. And I think that's exciting. That's why we do the contests we do.
Yeah, so let's actually let's talk a little bit about the contest, because you've got a video contest coming up. So this is an opportunity for everyone, teachers and students both? Or?
Absolutely. Teachers, we have a teacher strand, a student strand, and what we call a collaboration strand. So when teachers and students are working together on the planning and or editing of the video, then that's a collaboration video.
Okay, so if someone's interested in creating a video, obviously we don't need to go through all the rules, but how would someone get involved in the contest? Well, what's the outcome too? Okay,
the basic thing is go to nextvista.org and click on the little shield. Right now it's the Super Thoughts contest. It comes down to this: in 90 seconds or less, creatively explain something one might encounter in school. And in doing that, you do have another 60 seconds for credits if you need it, but we do specify, okay, it has, copyright-friendly content, Creative Commons licensed material that comes from this side or this side or this side. You have to do that. One of the things that teachers really like about this contest is that kids will put a video together, they'll submit it. In doing so, they fill out an entry form, so we get, say, the kid's email address and the teacher's email address, and we'll write the kid copying the teacher, and we'll give the kid feedback. Hey, it looks like a good video. I was having some trouble with the audio at the 56-second mark. Is that something you can fix and resubmit it? I didn't see a credit for some of the images you used. How do we know that we, can you
So they're getting real constructive feedback, like real world kind of things.
Absolutely.
And it's not their teacher, it's not a peer.
Right.
Very cool.
And as your tone implies, you understand how powerful that is, right? And the teacher's like, oh my goodness, I've been telling this kid to make this change for like 6 weeks. It's so good to have somebody from the outside reinforce that. And we don't put everything up. It's all screened, right? So if something comes in and it doesn't meet our rules or our quality standards, we let them know, hey, we'd love to see, this kind of taken to the next level. We'd love for you to take a shot at putting, something like this together in the future. With this one, not a match for our site.
So now, don't want to go on forever, but you mentioned in the beginning that at your site you have the submitted content. So outside of the contest, if someone wants to submit something to...
Oh yeah, just contact me. There's a contact us there. And the motivation for that can be something like, hey, I want my students to go through some really cool project pieces related to developing video. So let's pull that together, and can you help? And it's like, yeah, if it meets our rules and standards, that's all fine. In the contest is the added motivation of, if you're a finalist, you get a certificate and a gift card to like Amazon or iTunes or Google Play or whatever it might be, and of course international glory. That's big.
International glory is big.
Glory. But yeah, we love seeing kids get excited about the videos that they put out there, and we've had stuff that have come from these little schools and kind of random places, and the selection of their video as a finalist in one of our contests has been a really big deal for the school. How hard is it for a lot of schools to figure out what is the PR we need to do to build support in our community?
Right.
And to be able to say, here's a video online, here's the link, why don't you give it a look? That's the kind of sharing of information that will make people stop and actually do something, right? So if you might be too busy to go to the school to watch the play that's happening, which is a bummer. It'd be good to go there and help with those things. On the other hand, if you do want to support the school and you find that you're just not making it to some of the school events, and someone sends you a link to a 90-second video, you'll probably watch it, right? And that just kind of keeps things on the radar of the supporters and potential supporters within the community.
Well, it seems like it's also something easily shareable. Everyone's getting used to social media. Mom and dads are connecting with their schools via Facebook. The kids are connecting. I mean, it just seems like, it's an easy way to put out that, like I said, get that PR going.
Absolutely.
And people feel good about it.
Yep.
So, well, Rushton, thanks for taking some time to talk with us
My pleasure,
today.
yeah.
I'm sure it feels like there's about another hour or two we could go through.
I can ramble for a long time.
I would love to talk to you again sometime, and maybe we'll have to see what else we can collaborate on. But again, if you guys want to find out more, the website is
nextvista.org.
And we'll put that link in the blog post and everything else, so you guys can go check that out. Go check out the resources, and feel free to submit, because we'd love to see your stuff and participate. Maybe you can be the winner, and we'd love to maybe feature some of those.
Let's do it. That'd be awesome.
All right, thanks everybody. We'll be back next month with more Forge Glory. Also, we wanted just a reminder, go out and check out some of the past episodes of 48 and 24. We had 24 hours of continuous video making, lots of great stuff there that you might have missed, so go check that out, and we'll see you again next time.